welcome back to In the Can. We're just getting started here with the Sundance Film Festival year 2014. It only seems like a year since we did this.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, for you guys, though, it's kind of an ongoing thing. We're with Jackie Landy. She's a senior manager for theater operations, and Heidi Bruce is a manager in the ticketing department. Yep. And I love talking to you guys mostly because the absolute chaos that must be ticketing and getting the theaters all prepped and ready to go and everything like that. Nobody ever sees how that works.
Yeah.
Yet at the same time, you guys are just so super tied to it year round. Yeah. When the festival comes around, is any kind of relief for you, or is it just a whole new set of chaos?
I think we're finally really excited to finally just put the event on, because honestly, we start planning now for 2015. We're taking notes on how things have been set up and how things are going. So once the show starts rolling, it's finally like, okay, we can put everything in place and feel good about it. So
you're telling me we haven't even had one screening yet in 2014, and you're already thinking about next year? Can you just take a minute? I mean,
I know, right?
Exactly.
But it's part of being, part of planning a festival is always looking at how we can improve and looking at what we're doing now and evaluating how we can improve it for the following year. So
well, let's talk about some of the theater locations really quickly. I know that in the past, Park City has been very accommodating, obviously, but we've had to get creative over the years in finding places to screen movies. We've done it in racquetball courts, we've done it at community centers, and of course the library and things like that. Is there any new challenge this year, a new venue, anything that is kind of unique to 2014?
I wouldn't say there's necessarily any new challenges with building out a whole new venue, but we do have one new venue this year. We've been out at the Redstone for a few years now, and so we've used 2 screens. And last year we were in Auditorium 1 and 2, and we added Auditorium 7 this year. So we've added a few public screenings the first weekend and the last weekend. So that's a nice addition, and that's kind of a local spot too, just because it's easy to get to, and you can park, and people know where it is, and it's a little less crowded than coming into town. So.
And Redstone's already set up for this kind of thing anyway.
Right. Yeah.
So it's not like we have to reconfigure a location to make it movie worthy.
Yeah. Yeah. But I'm always amazed when I go into the Mark and then we get ready to get them in, or the Temple, and then you walk into it when it's all set up, and you wouldn't even imagine that it's a basketball court.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you just blew the lid off that, so everybody knows. Let's talk about ticketing for a second, because obviously that's something that starts way early.
Yeah.
But I know that ticketing is one thing. I mean, most people who come in from out of town go online, they get the catalog, they make their orders. But from a locals perspective, we're doing some different things, aren't we?
Yeah, a lot of it has already happened, unfortunately. That is like how Jackie said, there's a series of relief moments within ticketing. After October passes, it's nice. After early January, after we do Best of Fest. So now it's kind of exciting to finally get to the actual festival. Yeah. So what they can do now is day of show tickets, which just started this morning at 8 a.m. at either the Park City or Salt Lake main box office. We release screenings for that day and the first screenings of the following day. So they can get, if they head down immediately, they might all be gone at this point, but screenings for the opening night films tonight. And then tomorrow it's for all day Friday. So it's really exciting if you're willing to get down there early. And another option for tickets is just to go online. If a screening is 36 hours out, then you can just buy them right online. And so if you're flexible and willing to see something later in the week, you could go on now and just buy tickets.
Yeah, and for those savvy locals, they know that really the best time for those of us who live in the area to see the films are maybe a little later in the week when the crowds are gone, the premieres are done, that kind of thing too. And speaking of crowds, I know that we're doing something different with the wait lists. I mean, traditionally, those troopers who have had to stand out in the cold for an hour and a half just to see what they want to see, but we're helping our lineups a little bit.
Yeah, we're really excited about this new process that we're doing this year. In the past, we've used kind of this manual system where you had to show up at the theater 2 hours before the screening, pick up a number,
People
go
are
away.
twitching right now, by the way, as you're explaining this whole process.
I know. Come back 30 minutes before, but like you said, we found that people were waiting outside in lines in the cold, and it was just kind of a little bit of a cumbersome process. So, right after last year's festival, we started looking into some of our options, and we decided that we wanted to go with more of like a virtual or digital version. So this year we have a new system that we're working with called the e-waitlist system. And it's really fantastic. It's super simple. You can go to ewaitlist.sundance.org. You sign up, you register for the system, and then at 2 hours before the screening, you can log in, check out what screenings are available, and you can sign up or check in for a wait list.
So is it kind of like, checking in for the airline? Will that number appear on your phone or something, or do you print out a number, or how does that work?
Yeah, I mean, I guess a similar kind of system that you could think of would be like checking in for a Southwest flight. You're signing in, you're checking in at 24 hours before.
Okay.
You log in, you get your number, and then you're placed in line. With this system, it's kind of just a virtual version of what we've done in the past.
Okay.
So you go on at 2 hours before, you can sign up for 1 screening per 2-hour time period, and then you immediately get your number back. You show up at the theater 30 minutes before, at least 30 minutes before,
right,
to get in line. Because
I would say more than 30 minutes.
Like
I mean, maybe not 2 hours, but
maybe 45 minutes to get your place in line, and then we'll start selling waitlist tickets once we can evaluate the theater, anywhere from 30 minutes before the screening right up until the start of show.
And that's going to help, especially at the bigger venues like Eccles, where you've got a ton of waitlist people, and chances are the screening may be pushed back in time, and that messes up the schedule because you got to get another 100, 150 people into the theater right at the last minute.
Yeah, we're pretty solid on getting those started on time, though. I have to say, we do a pretty good job with that, and so we always use the scheduled screening time as kind of a guideline for people to show up again. And one really cool thing that I'm really excited about as well this year for this process is, in the past, you could only waitlist for yourself. You'd have to show up at the theater, you get one number.
Right.
With this new system, you can add a friend to your account, so you can link with an account. So if I wanted to see a movie with Heidi, I would just share my number with her, and then we get linked up. And then I could go online if she was working or busy and sign both of us up, and we both get our own individual numbers in sequential order.
Right. Like you guys have time to see films. Come on. I mean, that was sweet of you to bring that up as an example, but we know better. Well, good luck, Heidi, Jackie. Thanks for being here. I know that you've got a busy week ahead of you. A lot of the work has been put into it. We don't get to see that hard work, but we sure do benefit from it. So thanks for joining us. We're going to come back in a moment with Christopher Ryan. He's our party guy. He's here every year, and he's going to be talking about some of the things going on outside of the theater. Stay tuned for more In the Can.